For the audience, we are recording this, so let's go ahead and get started, and being respectful of the panelists and our audience time as well. So welcome everyone to the Asian American Chamber of Commerce monthly webinar series. We are so excited to welcome back Mr. Jimmy Smith, Director of Office of Small Business with the Department of the Navy. He's been with us before and always comes packed full of information. So I'm excited to have you back again.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to just do a quick opening remarks. The Asian American Chamber of Commerce, we are a nonprofit, fully volunteer-run organization. So we're all unpaid volunteers who work for the chamber, and our mission really is to bring educational content and to promote networking and business across the United States, although we are based in the Washington, D.C. metro area, but our members are all over the country. And we are excited to bring educational programs like these to our audience, but we cannot do it without the generous support of our sponsors. And our sponsor today is Ati Government Solutions. Their CEO, Firmadge Crutchfield, is on the line with us. So I'm going to let Firmadge just talk a little bit about ATI, and then we'll bring on Mr. Smith and hear all about the Navy then. Firmadge, over to you.
Well, Reena, thank you very much. Mr. Smith, it's very nice to see you in person. On behalf of ATI Government Solutions and the Asian American Chamber of Commerce, we're very appreciative of your time today. I'd like to tell you a little bit about ATI. We are a tribally owned corporation. Our offices are in Frederick, Maryland, but our reservation and our corporate headquarters is in Susanville, California. As a tribal corporation, we have a very strong interest in supporting our tribal members and obviously want to make sure that the work we do on behalf of our federal customers is excellent. We have approximately 8 entities who operate underneath us, but the entity that I'm highlighting today is ATI Government Solutions. ATI has a range of innovative IT services and products. We are technology strategy consultants. We are software developers. We provide enterprise IT services, cybersecurity services, and emerging technologies as well. We have been pleased to provide our services to the Navy in the past at NAVFAC in Panama City. And it was an engagement that recently ended. We were excited to have had the work and hopefully look forward to more work with the Navy, which is why I think everyone in the audience is here today and why we are putting you on the spot. Jimmy, the real question, how do we work with the Navy as a small business, as a socioeconomic business, and really looking forward to hearing what you have to tell us today. And if you're going to be at Res 2022 next week, hopefully we'll be able to see you in person. Reena?
Thank you so much, Firmadge. Appreciate it. And again, for the audience members, please, if you have questions, submit them in the Q&A box. The chat function is only for networking with each other. I'm not going to take up too much time here. I'm going to bring on Mr. Smith's presentation, which, as Firmadge said, that's why you all are here, not to hear us talk, but to hear Mr. Smith talk. So let's bring that up and hand it over to you. Mr. Smith, if you can please quickly introduce yourself and get into your presentation.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Reena. This is always a joy for me to come before you and the folks that you bring together to help the Department of Defense, especially Department of Navy here, and the efforts that we're trying to accomplish in order to meet the mission. And we see small businesses as a vital part of meeting that mission. It's a joy to be here, and I'm looking forward to the Q&A portion more so than anything. But currently, I'm the small business director for the Department of the Navy. Been in this position for 3 years now. And folks, I have the esteemed honor and pleasure of working with Mr. Carlos Del Toro, who is the Secretary of the Navy. He was actually a small business owner for 17 years prior to becoming the Secretary of the Navy. And prior to that, he was an active duty military member where he drove ships around in the defense of this nation. So I have a boss who understands exactly where you are, what you're going through, and the challenges that you're facing. And trust me, he imparts that knowledge upon me on a very frequent basis. Just this past Monday, I was in his office and we had a very candid discussion about what more could we be doing. And you like to think in your day job you're doing enough, you're reaching all of the goals and objectives that have been set out for you. But to have a boss that always turns that knob just a little bit more on you to get more out of you and to drive this organization further, it's a joy and a pleasure. And I can't thank him enough for what he does and the inspiration that he imparts upon me, that we go out and work with small businesses for the benefit of our warfighters. So let's get right into the presentation, and hopefully we can have a very good discussion ensuing after this. But folks, as I just mentioned, we see small businesses as that X factor for what we need in order to drive affordability and drive agility into our business model. You are my weapon. You're my weapon against larger industry partners from time to time. You're my weapon towards furthering innovation. You're my weapon towards increasing agility and giving the warfighters the things that they need. I can't tell you how happy I am to work with so many folks that have their hearts in the right place. They're driving their initiatives, their technologies, their processes, their services are benefiting those that are supporting the warfighter and those directly linked to the warfighter themselves in a phenomenal way. And through this presentation, I'll give you some details of how well you're doing as small businesses and also get into some of those details about opportunities that we have for you to look at for consideration for the future. Next slide, please. So in keeping with any type military organization, you've always got to start off with that hierarchy and chain of command. Folks, there is nothing that we do in the realm of the Office of Small Business that isn't aligned with the National Defense Strategy, which you see as that upper left-hand document. And there's sub-tier documents as far as the Navy's operating plan and how we operate within the small business strategic alignment. Those key factors that we're focused on are listed on this chart. I won't go through all of them, but I will talk about a few here. Increased collaboration in the socioeconomic interest areas and groups. That's what my office is here for. We're here to increase participation across the realm of the responsibilities that the Navy is charged with. We go looking for industry partners to do business with us. And one of the things that I tell our industry partners before you get into a contractual arrangement with us, if you're new to doing business with us, you're not allowed to fail. Because if program managers and contracting officers get a notion of we have small businesses that are participating in our work that aren't meeting the warfighters' needs, we really don't need you on the team, and we really don't have any space available for you in our construct. We're here to make sure we're meeting the mission. We're here to make sure we're supporting the warfighter. For 31 years, I've done nothing but provide capability to people who need it and support people who need that capability. This job, again, been here for 3 years, and I don't see a reason to change my mode of operations one bit for how we support the things that are charged with executing. You're here as my weapon. We're getting after some of the hard problems, and small businesses are in prime positions to help me with some areas where I'm vulnerable, where there's fragility, where there's an opportunity for you to increase the capacity that we have to give to the warfighter. I never want people on my team to ever be on a fair fight, never in a fair fight. So we're going to do everything that it takes to make sure that they get everything they need so that they can hopefully come back to their families safely and get on with their lives and their prosperity. Next slide, please. So let's talk about how the industrial base is doing. I would encourage you to read this NDIA study called Report Vital Signs 2021. It gives a health assessment of how the defense industrial base is. And I'm going to tell you folks, we're not doing that well. Back in 2021, we received a grade of a C across these 8 areas that you see highlighted in the chart on the left-hand block. These places where we're low in performance, where we're not achieving our goals and objectives, those are ripe opportunities for small businesses to come in and fill the gap for those things that aren't being provided. As you might imagine, due to the pandemic, 70% of those that used to work for us in certain impact areas are no longer supporting the Navy. We're losing industry partners at a phenomenal rate for various reasons, and COVID is a big part of that. But we're here to tell you that the Navy's still open for business. We're still spending relatively the same amount of money on our industry partners as we have done in the past. So either a few people get that money or that money is spread across many people. But the money tends to stay the same regarding who's getting it and where it's going across the industrial base. Next slide, please. But I highly encourage you to look for gaps where you have opportunities. Now, let me tell you how the Department of the Navy is organized. The Department of the Navy is organized into 10 major buying commands, and these are the people with the money and the contracts and the opportunities for you to do great things for them in support of the mission. So first on the list, the U.S. Marine Corps Installations and Logistics Command. Their Marine Corps activity, as you might expect or might not know, the Marine Corps is a part of the Department of the Navy. And I've got two major buying commands here that represent the Marine Corps, the totality of the Marine Corps. So if you're interested in things that support the Marines and their infrastructure, facilitization, bases, things that they need in order to keep the warfighter ready to go towards mission, those things can be done out of Military Installations and Logistics Command. Next on the list is the Marine Corps Systems Command. Everything that a Marine needs from a warfighting standpoint comes out of this command. So helmets, boots, guns, tanks, armor, everything that they need, bullets, hand grenades, everything that a Marine needs from a warfighting capability comes out of that particular major buying command. And they're headquartered in Quantico, Virginia, just down the road from the Pentagon. Next on the list is the Naval Facilities Engineering Command, NAVFAC as we call it. So from a greater Navy standpoint, if we have Navy bases, Navy infrastructure, those things in order to take care of basing, housing, food, the infrastructure of maintaining the Navy, the piers, the waterfront, the cranes, I mean, everything that it takes to handle getting capability on board our ships, submarines, and aircraft carriers, that kind of effort is housed in the Navy Facilities Engineering Command, and they're headquartered in Washington, D.C. Next on the list is the Strategic Systems Programs. This is the high-end threat. The Navy has nuclear weapons in its possession, and those weapons are housed on board U.S. Navy submarines. If you're interested in the high-end fight, working with nuclear weapons, nuclear missiles, that kind of capability comes out of that organization. And I highly encourage you, if you're pushing the envelope with technology in that arena, you want to get a hold of the Strategic Systems Programs Office. Next on the list, NAVSUP, the Navy Supply Systems Command. Everything that the Navy needs from an internal Navy standpoint, let's say paints, oils, adhesives, repair parts, maintenance, overhaul of components, anything that we need to supply to the Navy, to our ships, to our submarines, to our aircraft carriers, everything we need is coming out of the Navy Supply Command. There are consumables like Super Walmart, Amazon. That's basically the Navy's equivalent to, I need to order some things and they need to be delivered to a certain place so that those platforms can take them away and use them for the various military needs. So again, if you're providing capability, things that are consumables, NAVSUP is the command that you want to engage with your capability in that regard. Next slide, please. We'll get to the other 5. So I'm not sure if many people know that we actually have a float Navy next to our warfighting Navy. We actually have, through the Military Sea Lift Command, large cargo ships that bring goods and supplies to our ships while they're out at sea, or take them to foreign ports so that they can meet the ship in progress to help that load and unload process. Now, it's a chartered service. We actually charter these vessels to provide capability to the Navy. And we don't pull into every port. We will have underway replenishments where we take things off of the deck of that cargo ship and helo them or ferry them across to that warship. And oh, by the way, the warship is going to offload the things that it doesn't need. Trash, mail back to family members, things that we don't need on board the ship any longer, broken parts, broken components. We're going to get that off of the warship and onto the cargo ship so they can take it away and have it go be repaired and fixed back in port somewhere. So if you're interested in chartered services and now that brings to a worldwide Navy, the Military Seal of Command is where you want to engage. Next on the list is Naval Air Systems Command. Everything that flies in the Navy comes out of NavAir. NavAir is headquartered down in Patuxent River, Maryland, and if it has fixed wing, rotary wing, drones, you name it, everything we fly in the Navy comes through that particular command, and everything that goes along with the supporting of that capability comes out of the NavAir command down in Pax River, Maryland. Next on the list is NAVWAR, our Naval Information Warfare Command, headquartered in San Diego, but this is basically all of our IT technology. And it's IT, whether it's on a ship or a submarine or an aircraft carrier, or our IT that sits on our desk, on our bases, inside our office spaces. So everything IT related, cyber, anything to that like, will come through the Naval War Command, NAVWAR Command. Next on the list is the Office of Naval Research. This particular entity is headquartered in Northern Virginia, and basically they're charged with research and development, science and technology, discovery and invention. Give me things that I don't need today. Give me things that I may need 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. And those investments are made through that organization to further an industry partner's desire to mature that technology so that we can use it one day for a warfighting need. So again, if you're interested in that end of the work, research and development, science, technology, discovery and invention, things on the cutting edge, things on the bleeding edge of technology, you want to work with the Office of Naval Research. And last but not least, the cornerstone of the Navy, the Naval Sea Systems Command. This organization is responsible for the life cycle support of our ships, submarines, and aircraft carriers. Everything from design through disposal of those platforms. They're headquartered in Washington, D.C. at the Washington Navy Yard, and they represent the largest of our 10 major buying commands. On an annual basis, that organization puts out about $33 billion worth of money in contracts to support our fleet. So with that, folks, you have those entities that make up the entire Department of the Navy. Those 10 major buying commands are the people with the money, with the opportunity to further your interests and your desire to support the Navy. That's how we're organized. Next
Mr.
slide.
Smith,
Yes,
before
ma'am.
I move on to the next slide, I think this is a pertinent question to ask here. Do each of these commands have their own small business offices that folks market to and reach out to, or do they all go through your office?
Great question. And every single one of these major buying commands has their own small business director that works for the command. They're dotted line reporting to me, and they do a fabulous job. And you have every echelon within those major buying commands that have further small business professionals that are there to help our industry partners get to that program manager or get to that contracting officer that you need to talk to in order to gain insight about a solicitation that may be upcoming that hasn't been released yet. So great question. We have small business professionals at every one of these activities and at levels that those organizations go down as well.
Thank you. I'll let
Yes.
you continue.
Okay. Next, this slide here we have on the screen now is all about the Mentor Protege program. And folks, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Congress has authorized this program to be in existence. And in a nutshell, If there's a larger industry partner out there that can help you as a small business get those things you need to be that viable entity, we, the government, we, the Department of Defense, are willing to pay that larger industry partner up to $3 million to help your company out. I know you're probably wondering, what's the catch? There actually is no catch. Between you two industry partners, if you can come up with a teaming agreement amongst one another that has benefit also towards the Department of Defense, we can push that teaming agreement forward and go get money to help that larger industry partner be reimbursed for the things that they can do for you at no expense to you. Now, small businesses, you can't benefit from this deal from a cash standpoint. You can benefit from the help and support that that larger industry partner gives you. And I've seen this particular program blossom in so many ways to give companies those things that they need in order to be successful. If you want someone to come in and do Lean Six Sigma, if you need certifications to get you to that next level of performance in your organization, let a larger industry partner help you. We will pay for that larger industry partner and the resources that they use to help you be successful. We will pay for that up to $3 million per teaming agreement. Okay? This is a no-lose situation, folks. I highly encourage you to take me up on this opportunity to bring forward teaming agreements with your larger industry partners. Present them to the Navy, present them to the Army, present them to the Air Force, and we can go get those funds you need to help you be that viable entity. I've seen great situations where smaller industry partners have become much more valuable to their larger industry partner, and they're garnering much more work from that larger industry partner in a subcontractor relationship with them in some cases. But again, this is all about helping small businesses get the hand that they need to help them get up to those performance standards that we need them to get to. Okay, please take me up on this. I will absolutely make it worth your while. So how have we been doing across the Department of the Navy? Since FY18 through FY21, you see how we've been performing. The orange line represents the goals that are set for the Department of the Navy by the Department of Defense, further coming from the Small Business Administration. And the green line represents our actual performance. So as you can see, we've exceeded our goals for the last 4 years. And actually, if I put 2 more years to the left of that chart, you'll see 6 years of outstanding performance where we've met or exceeded the goals that have been set for us. The numbers that are in the the yellow bar, they represent how much money goes to small businesses from the Department of the Navy in prime contractor awards. I don't get any credit when you're a small business working for a prime contractor. These numbers do not reflect that. They only reflect when we're in a prime contractor situation with our industry partner. So as you can see, in FY20, in the heat of COVID, we spent the most money we have ever spent on small businesses in the Department of the Navy. $17.4 billion went to small businesses that served as primed in that year. And a lot was for COVID relief. A lot of industry partners answered the call when we were looking for PPE and those things we needed to keep our fleet afloat and forward deployed. And if you were one of those companies that provided support in that arena, thank you very much for what you've done in order to keep our Navy at sea. Next slide, please. In FY21, this is how we finished out the fiscal year. Again, 18.35%. Our goal was 15.61. And from our next 4 circles that are highlighted here in the center of the chart, the small disadvantaged business goal exceeded. Service disabled veteran-owned small business goals exceeded. Women-owned small business goals exceeded. Hub zone goals exceeded. And you can further see the breakout of where all of the money went. A lot of money goes towards knowledge-based services and facilities-related services when it comes to the work that small businesses does for the Department of the Navy. And the bottom really represents how we've been performing over time. So small businesses being that orange or that brown color and how we've operated, over time, and it's phenomenal work that's getting done, and that fair share of who should be getting what is being attained. But folks, I will tell you right up front, this is not about meeting goals. This is not about meeting objectives in regard to these statistics. This is all about providing warfighting capability to people who need it, or supporting the people who are supporting the warfighter. That's what we're driven by. And it just so happens all of our goals and objectives meet the requirements every single year. Next slide, please. Where are we spending the money? In FY21, you can see by this representation of the United States, where's all of the money going? And the orange being, $50 million, and the blue being all the way up to $1 billion plus. So prime contractor small business award, that 17.14 billion, that's where all of the money went. And as you can see, our U.S. territories even received money in that regard from the United States Navy as well. Next slide, please. And those things of what we're buying, this may be of particular interest for you regarding the total Navy award for FY21. This is where the money's going. As you can see, aircraft, ships, submarines, land vehicles, that made up $32 billion worth of money the Navy spent in that particular fiscal year. And facilities construction, as you go around clockwise, professional services, equipment related services, that's where the money's going from the totality of the award standpoint. Next slide will show you where all of the money went from a small business standpoint. Small businesses are making money in the facilities and construction arena, providing professional services, equipment related services, research and development, transport and logistics. As you can see, this is where that $17.14 billion and how it got divided up across last fiscal year when it came to the work that small businesses are doing for us. So you may find this information beneficial if you want to go fishing in any one of these particular ponds. That's where we're currently spending money in those areas. Next slide. How well have we been doing meeting our socioeconomic goals over the long run? On this particular chart, yellow represents the goal. Orange represents the goal. Yellow represents the actual performance. And as you can see, for small disadvantaged businesses, women-owned small businesses, service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses, and hub zones, we've exceeded our goals every single year, and we're spending relatively the same amount of money that's being called for every single year. So regardless of the number of industry partners that are here or not here participating in the work we do, the amount of money is relatively the same going into those various socioeconomic groups. Next slide, please. So women-owned small businesses, historical performance. Great chart here that shows what we've been doing over the timeline. And again, you have the goals, and green represents how we've actually been achieving. So we're doing very well with women-owned small businesses across the goals that have been outlined for the Navy to achieve. Next slide. Go back to, here we go. So women-owned small businesses, I decided to throw this one in here of a particular interest of mine. Where's all the money going with respect to women-owned small businesses when the Department of the Navy awards a contract? And again, $2.82 billion spent in this arena, and here's where it was spent all across the United States, just as another factoid of how we can crunch the data and determine where all of the money is going. Next slide. All right, here's what I need you to pay particular attention to when you want to do business with the Department of the Navy. You've got to visit my website. Google Department of the Navy, Office of Small Business Programs. You will see this website that pops up. And one of the things that I want you to do right away is go to the tab that says Doing Business with the Department of the Navy. Let's go to the next slide. Under that, I think the animation, yeah, here we go. So go ahead and click the animation and it'll run you through how to get to our long range acquisition forecast. So again, go to my webpage. There are the 10 major buying commands. You tap on one of the logos of the command that you're interested in doing business with. go down to long range acquisition forecast. There we go. Okay, now it's loading up. Okay, it'll click on one. So within that particular command, you can find every unclassified solicitation that we plan on awarding across the Department of the Navy on a per command basis. Now, folks, I'm going to tell you right up front, the first time we put this together, we had 89 Excel spreadsheet pages at the 5 font level of solicitations that the Department of the Navy plans on releasing and awarding over now all the way out to 5 and sometimes 6 years out into the future. So if you're looking for transparency on how to do business with the Department of the Navy, you can go shopping right on my website to go find that information for those solicitations that you may be interested in. Again, it's searchable. You can download these Excel spreadsheets. You can punch in your NICS code and find those opportunities that you may want to decide, hey, I think I'm going to prime for this work. Or I see that this incumbent has had this particular body of work for several years now. Maybe I want to see what I can do about teaming with that particular incumbent in case they, when we sunset the contract and offer another opportunity to bid on that work. So think strategically when you want to engage. Use our long range acquisition forecast as a tool to help you decide where you want to go fishing for work. Next slide, please. And I think I pulled up some examples of some solicitations that are coming here in the future. Outstanding. So here's what you will find, and it's blown up from that 5 font level so that you guys can actually see it on the screen here. But let's pick one of the commands, NAVFAC Mid-Atlantic. They plan on putting out the NICS code 541330, engineering services. You get a brief description of what they're looking for in that particular solicitation. They're telling you that they're planning on having an 8A set aside competitive award for that contract. And the potential value is somewhere between $1 million and $7 million. We plan on awarding that contract in fiscal year 22, this fiscal year, 4th quarter. So that's when the solicitation comes out. Plan award will be FY23, 4th quarter, so a year later. And folks, we're giving you the contracting officer's information, their name and email address, so that you can engage them prior to the solicitation coming out on the street, long before you will find it in Feds Bids Ops, long before you will find it in Feds Bids Ops, so that you can get that early start on whether you want to even bid on this work. Again, the set aside type, the acquisition strategy that we plan on using, those are critical. You can find set aside work. You can find work that's targeted towards service-disabled veteran, women-owned small businesses, 8A, and so forth and so on. Again, folks, absolute transparency here. If you can't find an opportunity to do work and bid on work from the Department of the Navy, you haven't visited my website. Okay, I think I probably beat that one enough, and I think that was probably this is my last slide here. Folks, we are absolutely on social media everywhere. Twitter, YouTube channel, LinkedIn, Facebook. Please take the opportunity to see all of the resources that you have at your disposal via these social media platforms. On my YouTube channel, you will find TED Talk kind of conversations with subject matter experts who own the various parts of the work that we're responsible for. And you can hear firsthand, hey, I've got concerns with facilities clearance. Here's how you go about alleviating those concerns with obtaining a facilities clearance. That's one of examples that you will find on our YouTube channel. And we can go on to the next slide. You being a part of our mailing list, this is our mailing list form that you will subscribe to. You will get, every time we go off to host a topic of interest, and these topic of interest typically come from our industry partners. Tell us what you want to know so that we can go give you that information, and absolutely free at your leisure. You can go look at it, you can watch it live, but there is nothing but a wealth of information here on my website. Subscribe to our mailing list. You can stay attuned to the various webinars that we're doing. And starting up next month, I'm actually having what used to be called the doctor goes to pay a home visit to folks. You can actually come visit us during our office hours, and a special time set aside where you can ask me or the colleagues that I have on the webinar at the time, ask us anything. If you're having challenges somewhere, if you're looking for an opportunity, you want to talk in detail, we're going to open the doors up to basically field all questions and opportunities that people have. Next slide, please. I think we're done. I think I'm opening up for questions now. Okay, this talks about the webinar series that we have. Everything that we've done in the past is already captured and recorded. Things that we're doing in the future, you will get a notification via that subscription to our mailing list to see if you're interested in one of the topics that we've got coming up. But I highly encourage you. We bring folks in from wherever they are. I mean, we host NASA, we host the Army, we host the Air Force, we host DLA, DISCA for facilities clearance, because that's always a topic of interest for folks. But we bring these people to you so that you can listen to them directly, and you don't have to worry about getting information secondhand, or maybe you read something wrong or the guidance wasn't quite clear. You can engage these folks on a personal level through these webinars that we're conducting. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, that's our Lunch and Learn series. Okay, we got stuff coming.
I keep bringing up more slides, but this is the last one.
Okay, so here's some upcoming events. We have a Lunch and Learn, the Missouri PTAC. We're talking to them in October. November, we got the APTAC Fall Conference, and our Lunch and Learn series, again, Small Business Administration talking to the National Ombudsman. That's in the December timeframe. But those things are further out. I think we have our Navy Gold Coast coming up that week of Labor Day week in September. If you're interested in seeing what the Navy does on a magnificent scale, San Diego, the day after Labor Day at the San Diego Convention Center for 3 days. We've got a world-class event there where there's matchmaking between government and industry, industry and industry. I mean, all across, not just Navy. We bring in the Air Force, the Coast Guard, the Marines are going to be there. DLA is going to be there. All of my major buying commands are going to be there. And we bring in the program managers and the contracting officers who have the opportunities that you're going to be interested in from a let's go make a deal standpoint. So with that, I think I'm done with my formal presentation, and I'm opening up for Q&A now. Just don't be nice to me. Ask me some hard questions.
Well, I'm going to start with what has come in here, and I'll try to keep up because now the questions are starting to roll in. And
Okay.
We had some early questions as well. So let me start with what has come in here. This was excellent presentation, by the way. Thank you for sharing all this knowledge. So a couple of, I'll start with some easy questions first. And I think I asked you this, does the US Marine Corps have their own small business office, or do we have to go through the Navy?
They actually have their own, and depending on whether you want to support the warfighter directly, that's Austin Johnson. If you want to support the infrastructure of the Marine Corps, the bases, the housing, the barracks, that's going to be Carlton Hagan. So I have two names. They're listed on my website. You can't miss these folks. All of the small business directors, every email, phone number listed on the website as well.
Perfect. And for those folks who are raising your hands, we are not going to unmute lines for the audience. Please submit your questions in writing. I would appreciate that. Which organizations handle the Navy hospital fulfillment?
Okay, so they're a separate buying command that I didn't talk about there, but the Bureau of Medicine is the hospital, and the hospital aspects of the Navy Marine Corps, the hospital ships, the doctors, the nurses, those are done through the Bureau of Navy Medicine. So if you have interest there, they're not as big as these other major buying commands that I have, so I didn't showcase them specifically. But BUMED, hospitals, nurses, doctors, and the entire infrastructure that goes on to support them. If we need x-ray machines, all of the various lab testing that we do that you would find in a normal hospital, we need all of those services internal to the Navy as well. So great question, but not one of our major buying commands.
All right, so here's another one. Which buying command would the Navy Seabees fall under?
Navy Seabees are going to be under NAVFAC, the Naval Facilities Engineering Command. They're responsible for building bases, roads, demolition, bridges, watersheds, electrical grids, water purification, those things that the Navy Seabees do. So Navy Facilities Engineering Command, NAVFAC.
Very cool. All right, so folks, continue to submit questions. I'm trying to navigate through and moderate here. I'll pick an early question that had come in, and that has to do with sources sought.
Okay.
Question earlier submitted is, we submit sources sought responses, but we never hear anything back, nor do we know what happened to the program. Can the Small Business Office help with that?
Absolutely. And I would highly encourage you to respond to sources sought, because that's that contracting officer's opportunity to say, can anyone out there, be it small business or set aside, what kind of options can I get if I just poke around and figure out whether people are interested in doing this work and that there are enough of them there to have a competitive base to operate from? That shapes the contracting officer's approach to how they're going to submit that solicitation out the door. So as you saw in the long range acquisition forecast, you had some 8A set-asides. I will best believe 8A companies responded to sources sought and said, hey, we can do that body of work, we can do that body of work. And when that contracting officer gets that critical mass of people who can participate in that work and bid on it and come out the back end and win an award, that's why we would set work aside. We only set work aside when we have sources sought and those responses come back. So you see the results through the acquisition strategy of how these solicitations end up coming out of the Navy. If they're wide open for competition, they're wide open for competition. But if we start necking them down to where small businesses can compete and have set aside work, that's because we're getting good responses back from our small businesses. So don't miss the opportunity to reply to those, and don't think that they're falling on deaf ears. But the action that a contracting officer will take next after receiving your input is, let me figure out whether I want to set this aside for women-owned small businesses, 8A, Hub Zone, and so forth. So you see the result, but no one's going to report back to you on thank you for your input and we used your information in this fashion. We're just going to get on with moving the ball down the road.
Well, a follow-on question to that is, how do companies get sole source contracts? And is it true that year-end money is spent primarily through sole source contracts?
So depending on the socioeconomic group, so let's take ANCs as an example. ANCs provide great opportunities through law where we can do sole source contracts with just one person, one bidder on that work. And that's written in law. So depending on which socioeconomic group you come from, yes, we can do sole source awards. ANCs are the easiest path for a contracting officer to get money out the door rapidly. And the threshold for that money, I think it's like 100, I forget the actual target, but it's a lot of money.
35 million or 100 million.
Or 100 million, absolutely. So there's a great deal of money that can be spent, and the thresholds for that and how you set it aside have to be governed accordingly. Now, we typically go with, we have to have two. The rule of two applies to many things we do. Yes, we can set it aside for a socioeconomic group, but we have to have at least two competitors in that space to give us competition to where the government, the taxpayers are going to get a fair price. Competition pressurizes industry partners to give us a good deal. Getting into one contractor sole source situations, I'm not going to say that they're bad deals, but you don't have the pressure of competition to keep the cost down and drive that process to that path. So a little bit of a long answer, but there's different avenues that we can go down when it comes to sole source contracting. Not all sole source contracting is one entity gets it. In many cases, it's one group can only compete for that work, or in the case of ANCs, yes, you can submit it to one entity to get that work.
Interesting to get a different perspective. It's a group that gets sole source, not an entity. And a
Right.
follow-on question to that, I lost that question. I'm not a very good moderator here. Here you go. When an upcoming contract is listed as 8A sole source, does that mean that a company has already been identified for that contract?
Now, this is back to a response to sources sought and the market research that we do to say that we've got enough people in this space, this social economic category, that are capable and able to do this work. So we're setting it aside for that group, not setting it aside for any particular company. There still has to be a competition waged among those who are in that group.
Okay, so just because it says 8A sole source does not mean somebody has already been selected.
It is correct. No, there is no predetermining the answer. And we have to go through the deliberate process.
Understood. Here's another question. It's a longer question, but I'll summarize it. Essentially, what this person is trying to ask is they've found that companies who have legacy relationships with the Navy are very difficult to unseat. What advice would you give companies who are trying to do business where there's an ingrained or a legacy incumbent that has been doing work? You kind of touched on this a little bit, but if you'd like to elaborate.
Absolutely. So human nature, I can't say that this is a Navy unique thing. This is probably a human nature thing. We tend to go back to those things that make us comfortable. And that's kind of just human nature. I don't necessarily like meeting new people. I like all the old people that I already know. But now we're challenging program managers, we're challenging contracting officers to give us a good deal, because no one said, go make yourself feel good in this relationship. The drive is to go get the government, go get the taxpayers a good deal. And here's some things that we've brought to the attention of those that work across the Department of the Navy. So if you're paying $50 an hour at the start of a contract for a given expertise to be on your contract, and after that contract has run its course and we make another award, and you're now paying $70 for that same service that you were getting at $50, that's not a good deal for the Department of the Navy. That's not a good deal for the taxpayers. So your personal relationships, the bonding that you have amongst one another, is actually costing us money, and we're getting less capability because of it. I'm spending $20 more an hour for that person because you like them. I don't care that you like them. I want the value that that $50 brings, instead of that person getting a cost of living increase all over time and things of that nature working in their favor to keep increasing their salary for the same body of work. We're not interested in getting in deals like that. And you have to break through the sticky middle when it comes to people liking who they like, and oh, by the way, we're getting a bad deal. I bring situations like that to the attention of our contracting officers and program managers every single day, because I don't care who they like. I want to get a good deal and give an opportunity for someone who can come in and do an innovative thing, bring technology to the forefront when you were dealing with someone who just wanted to ride it out to the end of time. It's not in their best interest to give you anything new. Small businesses, those that are critical to the engagement of innovation and agility and bringing about capability, those are the people that I want to join my team. Make it better, 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 better. Not I get the same. So go right ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say, in line with that, there is a question here that says, how do we invite the Navy to evaluate new products? And this company has developed something for ships, but how do companies get the attention of these Navy buyers then to say, don't do the same old thing. We have something new and innovative for you to look at.
Absolutely. And that's a great question. So we do have opportunities for folks to engage. Let's start with the fleet, and you can engage the Navy on many levels, and I'll talk about 2 or 3 of them here. So let's say that you have a technology that you want to go show the Navy how it performs and what it can do to benefit that warfighting capacity of the Navy. We actually have fleet science advisors that work with our industry partners to bring your capability on board the ship, bring it on board the submarine, bring it on board the aircraft carrier, bring it out to the field with Marines so that we can actually see this thing demonstrated live in a real in situ situation that we could potentially use this thing in. Now, when you demonstrate your capability and it turns everybody's head and it's the best thing since sliced bread and we need it, we want it, that turns into a requirement. I now need the thing that you're offering. And now we can go put money behind a requirement to then go buy the thing that you're offering. But without a requirement, we can't put any money. And I told you at the beginning, I don't have any free money. I don't have money for just throwing it around because we like something, we see something, it's really cool. I have money only for those things that meet mission requirements. So you have to get us into a point where I now need your thing to meet mission. And through field operations, field demonstrations, those kind of opportunities that are offered through the Office of Naval Research, you can find our science advisors that are attached to the fleet, that we have these at sea exercises several times a year where you can bring capability forward. Real life example. We had folks who had this particular technology to defeat drones from getting too close to our ships. They're too small for us to really detect them, and our systems are tuned for things that are much bigger. But this particular capability, we could put on the ship and it could detect a drone and then put a bubble around the ship to keep the drone away from the ship. They came out, demonstrated that technology, that capability, off their running, and now it's a requirement. So those are the things that we need our industry partners to do. Make my warfighting capability that much more robust. Give me the opportunity to use the thing that you can sell me in my military situation, and we will provide exercises, demonstrations so that you can show that kind of capability. That's how you get in the door with things that I don't even know I need yet. You got to show me. It's kind of like it's kind of like the iPhone, kind of like your phone. I didn't know I needed this thing until they gave it to me. And now that I have it, I can't live without it. And they keep giving me more stuff on it. So demonstrate what you can do in front of the people who can use it and make them excited about the opportunity to do business with you.
I absolutely love what you just said, that you're opening up your office, letting people walk in. So if there are folks who have technology like this, but don't know whom to approach, I presume can come in and talk to you all.
Talk to me. I've worked just about everywhere across the Department of the Navy. I know everybody. Everybody owes me something. All I have to do is make a phone call. I've
seen that done. So thank you.
And I get excited because we're providing capability to people who need it. That's what this is all about. And if you come in and show me something that blows my socks off, I'm gonna get you in front of the people who you have to convince to start spending money on you and throwing contracts your way. And I'm
all right.
good.
So speaking of contracts, speaking of contracts there, and hopefully somebody's selling socks so you can replace his socks and we can blow some more away. But small businesses, how can small businesses engage with the Navy on OTA contracts, consortia and OTA contracts? A little bit about that.
Those are great mechanisms to go fast, to use other transactional authorities for us to be able to keep up with the speed of relevance. Our normal status quo system of how we go about setting requirements, budgeting money, expending money, delivering capability, that's a very long and slow process. OTAs allows us to get in that fast lane. You know, those people who get on the roller coaster before everybody else does, even though you spent 45 minutes in the line. The fast lane is where OTAs are. And through my office as well, through the Office of Naval Research, you can demonstrate those capabilities that you have on a non-traditional contracting vehicle. That's what an OTA is. Hey, I want to see if you can build 15 of those and they can have the demonstrated quality, the qualities that we're looking for. And we can go off and do those kind of deals. But now let's say that I wanted to buy 5,000 of them, 50,000 of them. Now I need to kind of convert back at some point along the way back to the traditional way of buying things that the government buys things. So you need a bridge between an OTA and the traditional way of doing business. OTAs are great. They get everybody excited. Everybody starts running. But if you want to finish the race successfully with providing large numbers of the things that you can do, you eventually have to roll back over to a traditional kind of program where we can budget money for that thing and then go off and execute the full range and breadth of what that capability can allow. So absolutely love OTAs. You go fast. You show me, you get stuff to me, I can pay you right away. I'm moving at the speed of relevance. Now, if I need to buy 50,000, we need to talk about a different method of contracting. So,
understood. Well, I have a couple more questions and I want to be respectful of your time, but I just can't stop asking. So returning back to work, the GSA Public Building and Army Corps of Engineers, they're going through workplace transformation. This is more on the construction and engineering side. Does the Navy have similar focus of workplace transformation services, and who would be the procuring office for that?
Navy Facilities Engineering Command, NAVFAC, they would be that command that you would engage for that type of work and response. And absolutely, depending on where that location is, we're going through exactly those same transformations here to make sure that we're still relevant, we're keeping our employees happy, work-life balance. I mean, COVID was very bad in many respects, but a good side of COVID allowed us to do webinars like we're doing here today. I mean, we will never go back to just doing face-to-face meetings and traveling all over the United States to go meet with people. I could meet with so many more people with tools like this and giving us an expanded use and ability to do this in our locations. Because I will tell you, I can't do what I'm doing here with you today over in the Pentagon. That building doesn't allow me to have the bandwidth I need to do a webinar. So I have to do webinars like this from home. I would love to do it in a workplace that was more set up for this kind of opportunity. So yes, we are doing it. Yes, we're absolutely interested in moving down that path where it makes sense and locations where it makes sense. And NAVFAC is responsible for that kind of activity.
Thank you. And there are several other questions on who are the buying commands. I would presume that the doing business with the Navy, the website that you mentioned, people can go there and learn more about who the buying commands are and how the money is being spent. Would that be a true statement?
True statement. And the website gives you all that information, and it gives you the small business professional at that location that you can engage directly. That's your front door to get access to the contracting officers and the program managers that work at those major buying commands.
Beautiful. Well, it's exactly 4 o'clock. So I want to make sure that we got everything wrapped up. Again, Mr. Smith, thank you so much for coming on again today. I hope we can do this again in the future. I absolutely love, I mean, the audience loves talking to you. It just doesn't stop.
Well, if you want to, I don't have another thing. So if you want to go longer, if that's allowed, I'm fine.
Okay, well, I'll keep picking questions. His office is going to be open, so bring him cookies and ask more questions. Bring socks with you.
I'm open for business and socks, but bring me novel ideas, because if you can be bold, and I don't mean bold and reckless, I mean bold to the point that you can deliver capability or services that put others to shame, we want to do business with you. We will unseat incumbents for folks who are bringing that heart that all small businesses bring with them. You've got to bring that heart and that soul to do business with us. And use me. Folks, I'm telling you, use me. Use me to the point that you think you're abusing me, please. I'm serious.
Be careful, be careful.
So I'll put this out there. If you're not using me, your competition probably is. So there, now I see it.
There you go. Talk a little bit more about the Mentor Protege program that you mentioned. Is it a good program for startup companies or established companies? Who would most benefit from something like that?
I think companies that are already established will be the best benefactors out of this particular setup, because you not only want to get the benefit of having that larger industry partner working with you, but you want these government customers to start looking at you as well for look at the opportunity, look at the capability, look at the promise that this company shows. You kind of want to have something that you can already show in that regard. But the things that you work out between that prime contractor for what you need to be that viable entity that you want to become, that can be anything and everything. It can be send your people to training, go get Lean Six Sigma. I mean, literally one of the companies that we're working with as a protege to a prime, they wanted modular furniture for their office space. And the large prime was revamping a building, and they said the modular furniture is actually still pretty good. And if you want our modular furniture, you can have it, small business protege. And in one day, all of the old principal desk and your old, the fifth grade teacher's desk, they left the building and modular furniture showed up from this large prime to give to that small business. And we, the Department of Defense, paid for that modular furniture and the transaction of moving it from one place to another. We reimbursed the prime for that expense. But
so
now
there is no stipulation on how the money or what the money can be used for. It's two parties have to come up with an agreement.
They have to come up with an agreement, and that agreement needs to be mutually beneficial to the Department of Defense. Modular furniture to help you be more efficient about doing your day job. Hey, you win. Spend money. Done.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, if companies are not taking advantage of that, I don't know why.
And here's what my struggle is. The Air Force has like 19 teaming agreements. The Army has like 14 teaming agreements. The Navy has 1.
Ooh.
I have 5 in the works right now because I'm going around telling everybody if I don't get my fair share, I'm looking like an orphan here. Why are you not using the Navy for this same good money that others are using it for? And there's no trick. You don't have to give back the modular furniture at the end of the day. It's yours.
All our folks have to do is go talk to their large business primes and say, let's come up with an agreement.
Let's come up with a team.
And then go knock off Mr. Smith's socks, and there you get the money.
Up to $3 million per teaming agreement, and the prime, the mentor can have multiple teaming agreements. The protege, I believe, can have 3. So you can spend a total of $9 million across 3 different entities to help you get the stuff that you need. One protege can have 3 mentors. That's $9 million, up to $9 million at your free disposal.
So, Mr. Smith, folks are asking for your phone number, your email address. I don't have a slide with it. Do you want to call out your phone number here so I can type it in?
Or if you want me to put it in the chat, I can do that.
Please do. Please do. We'd really appreciate it. This has been fantastic. Folks, I hope you got a ton of good information here. Really appreciate all of you joining and staying on for the whole time. Those who didn't join, it's their loss, but we did record this and we will share the webinar with everyone. So thank you all again. I'll wait for you to put in your contact information for everyone to see. And
okay. I think I get it. They changed our email addresses here recently, so I want to make sure I get it right. Here we go. We switched over to a new IT system, and for some reason our email addresses had to get so much longer because of it. jimmy.d.smith1.civ@us.navy.mil. Yes, that's it.
oh my God, that is a long one.
All right, there's my there, and then tell you what, so I'm going to give folks an extra bonus here. Bear with me 1 minute while I put my cell phone number in here. All right, there's my cell phone number. All right, folks.
Don't see that often, guys. So
and that's this phone. That's this phone, not this phone.
Somebody's gonna call you right now while we're online. All right. Well, thank you.
Oh, hang on. The information that I sent went to the host only. It didn't go to everyone. So
no, I see it to host, and I'll share it. I'll put it out for everyone.
Okay. Please share. Now, this is since you're wrapping up, I'm gonna give everybody one final bonus, and we got 80 participants in here. I'm not sure if that includes me or not includes me, but for 80 people that you can link back to this webinar, only this webinar, here's my added bonus. So for this entire fiscal year, which is 1 October through 30 September, I currently serve as the small business director, the head small business guy for the entire federal government. So if you want to do business with Homeland Security, Department of Transportation, NASA, Department of Education, Department of Treasury, if there's another agency out there that you want to do business with and you want someone to open the door of that agency up for you, I currently am the head small business guy for the entire federal government. I can help you get into those entities as well. I will call my colleagues up, sponsor on your behalf your engagement with that activity. Okay? When you email me on that email address that's been shared, mention that you were a part of this webinar. And I don't do this because this creates a lot of work for me, but I don't do this. But for those of you that participate in this event, if you want to reach any of the other 87 federal agencies that exist and you want to figure out how to do business with them, there's a person just like me working for the Navy that works for that agency and all of the tiers of echelons within that organization. I can get you to where you need to be in order to be heard, so you can showcase the things that you do so that others can benefit from it as well. Now, I think
you're gonna have to I think you're gonna have to put a contract out for someone to start reading your emails now. So again, thank you.
I truly have a bad habit where I clean my email box out every single day before I go to bed. No emails unopened, not responded to. Every day before I go to bed.
And I can vouch for that. So again, thank you. I really appreciate you spending time. I look forward to having you again in the future with us. I know the audience loves you. On behalf of the Asian American Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much. If you guys are not members already, we hope you'll come join the chamber. So
please join. Please join.
Thank you. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Have a great day.